Hello all, Tot here with a new video where I'm going over the Halloween season. I hope everybody had a joyous Halloween, a very merry, happy Halloween. Nothing too crazy happened. But let's be honest, this year, the whole year's been scarier than Halloween, but it's nice to pretend. It's good times. And I want to go over some of the Halloween movies we watched, me and my best friend. Not going to reveal their name, not going to talk about them too much, but just, yeah, what we watched. See, the first one was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It was a really good movie. I mean, I haven't watched a Marvel movie in forever, besides another one we watched. That's a separate video, possibly. And it was really good. It was directed by Sam Raimi, one of my favorite directors. Made Evil Dead. Made a pretty good Spider-Man trilogy. Made the scariest creature of all time, Emo Maguire. Good times. And I think it did a really good job of balancing out kind of the loose ends and the threads going through. And the main idea is you should be grateful for what you have and not wondering what you need, because it stars the Scarlet Witch going kind of crazy and wanting something she can't have. I mean, I think there's a deeper message there. We should be happy with what we got and try to be content, satisfied. And desire and longing can drive a person mad, which I believe we saw a case of that. I think the same thing happens in social media, being jealous or trying to take over stuff, trying to live vicariously, then trying to just live straight through people's lives, which is not good. We have our own lives, our own trials and tribulations, our own story. We can't co-author anybody else's in this life. I don't believe that for a second. If you do have a significant other, you still have yourself, honestly. But to each their own. And it raised a lot of interesting questions about, magic and what one does to achieve their goals at all costs and the price to that. And I believe it did very well. I like Cumberbatch, very good actor. I did not mind the addition of America, whose abilities were very cool, very neat. Also, I love Doctor Strange movie. This is tangent. You get basically a magic show in a movie. You get all this fascinating imagery, all this thought. It was not made haphazardly. Okay, everything fits together in this very odd, amazing, different types of puzzle. They call a movie a plot, and I highly recommend it. It makes me actually want to watch Doom more, which I didn't think I was going to have a want to. I'm a big Marvel fan. I could do a couple videos on that, how it's inspired some of my writings. But that's a video for another day. And yeah, that was the first one. It was an early one. It was PG-13. The other two were more in line with horror of a different kind, a very adult horror. The second one we watched was Hellraiser, 2022. And I really love Hellraiser. Clive Barker's Hellraiser is a very good series, very in tune with, desire, which, ironically, I think we're entering a society of low desire, low trust, high fear. And it's comforting to know that you have some deep horror movie telling you the ins and outs of it. I've really always loved Hellraiser. I watched a lot of the movies. I haven't really liked a lot of the new ones, but this one was I think, made about 2 or 3 years ago. Great actors, great main character, good Cenobite design, good, okay villain. I believe the villain kind of fell flat, honestly. And yeah, it's just, I guess, one or two things I didn't like, but that's, again, another topic for another day. And it really made me think about addiction and desire and longing and price. I'm not going to spoil the movie, but I highly recommend it. Nice little plot twist at the end. And what we do to satisfy those urges, because the main character is an addict, a recovering addict who lapses. And that way they're very human. They're under a lot of stress. They need something to take the edge off, and their life isn't going that great. And we've all fallen off the horse. Maybe got a little bruise from it. Maybe a broken bone if you're really unlucky, the metaphorical horse. But we get back on it. And they do. And they end up kind of achieving their goal. more or less. Not really. Kind of a bittersweet, somber ending, but a good one. And again, the designs. Oh, even without Bradley there, Mr. Bradley, the Pinhead, it was still a good movie. And I like how it's going past the main villain. And again, desire is important, but the more desire you get, and I think we're seeing that real time society with all these escalations of experiences and addictions and trying not to be bored because that's the scariest word in 2025 and if not multiple years beforehand is boredom, the void, the abyss, and the deafening silence of it. And I guess it's good to know there's something on the other side of that wanting you to experience more. Mind you, it goes into a lot of adult stuff I can't share here. If you've seen the Hellraiser series, you know. Again, good series. I've watched about, I'd say about 5 movies. It got progressively different. I actually was rooting for the cast this time. I watched some other ones where it wasn't. It's like, I really don't care about any of these characters. I've not endeared on any of them and printed anything. I can't remember most of their names. And this movie actually did make me care. I can actually remember some. Again, I'm not going to spoil it here. Anyway, I highly recommend it if you're into Hellraiser and more psychological and psychopathic, or, you know, I guess existential dread. Again, not everything's Lovecraft, but everything kind of is Lovecraft, especially the first one. Anyway, the third movie we watched, though, was Terrifier 3. We've watched all the Terrifiers before this one. It's really. I don't know how the guy who directs it does it. I don't know how he keeps raising the stakes, making you know, the deletion of characters much more appealing, much more grotesque and visceral. It's quite a feat. I remember watching the first one. I thought it was good. Definitely had some grassroots vibes or feelings about it. It felt like a homegrown horror movie instead of something made by a committee. And Art the Clown's an icon, I think, at this point. Played perfectly by the man that plays him. And yeah, for a character that doesn't say a lot, he sure does say a lot without using words. He uses his expression through another means. Something I can't condone. You can find healthier ways of doing that, I hope, that don't involve horrific, insane amounts of violence. Done very immensely, fastly, faster than anything. And yeah, I like Terrifier because it reminds me of the time of Gore, the B movie. I'm a gore hound. Again, my horror story, Prescription for Pestilence, definitely highlights that. I do have another one that's more gore houndy that I'm going to make up as a treat for my viewing audience. I also want to talk about 2 other things I'm going to share here, but I want to make videos of. The first is Evil Dead, because I love Sam Raimi. Okay, I love Evil Dead. And it broke my heart in many, many pieces when I heard that they aren't going to do the Army of Darkness tie-in or part with the Ash vs. Evil Dead. And that's a crying shame, okay? I liked the series. I have watched every single Evil Dead movie. And I've watched the series. The only thing I haven't really done is read the comic books. Okay, that's a different thing. But I've seen all the movies, even the series on HBO and Netflix, and I loved them. And Netflix keeps breaking my heart because that same thing happened with Inside Job and other shows, and I'm like, man, I'm just tired of falling in love. I'm tired of my heart being broken. So I've not used Netflix forever. That's again tangent. And I'd like to talk about Evil Dead. I really like it. The horrific hero, if you would, the everyman, which Bruce Campbell is not an everyman. He's quite the example, the specimen. I always love his characters. Always love his acting, how raw he is. Oh, that chin too. That's why I would love to read his biography. Hail to the chin, baby, because who can't? Second one is a video game I love, a horror game. It's a little known game called Bloodborne. It's made by From Software of Dark Souls and Sekiro, which I also love Sekiro too. Sekiro 1. And yeah, it's a really good game. It's got that atmosphere down to the nines. I mean, it's so good. It's hard. It's tough. And again, I'd like to make another video about because again, I really love Lovecraft a lot. Very good series. Very good people adding to it. And yeah, I highly recommend Lovecraft. This game emphasizes and just speaks to me on so many levels. Deeper than the oceans that control Cthulhu, or where he lives. It's deeper than Sleeping City Relay. It's a very fascinating game. It was made by a Japanese developer too. I played my share of Cthulhu and Lovecraft games, but nothing really comes close to Bloodborne, to be 100% honest with all of you. I'd like to know some of your favorite horror games. I'd like to cover some more games too. I've been an avid video gamer most of my life, and I have a lot of different types. I also have an update video where I'm going to share some more talk about a game series I love because I've seen some updates on it. So let's stay tuned for that. I hope you all had a happy Halloween. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a nice day.